So last week we concluded the first month of our winter retreat, and we've been looking at refuge. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is that the three jewels are always there for us. But I've seen so many times in my life, and still currently, where I am not there for myself. And so Tsongkhapa in the middle length Lamrim says, of the two causes for being protected, there is no incompleteness in the external one, our teacher having established it. However, since the internal cause, taking hold of that refuge trustingly, has not come about, we suffer. So that's true. I see that very clearly. So I've been really exploring the obstacles that I face in taking refuge, and I've seen a number of them. So the first one is what Tara Brach calls the trance of unworthiness. And this is something that I think is quite pervasive in our society. And so there I was. I had the refuge field in front of me, all of the holy beings looking at me. And I was thinking, does Nagarjuna really want to send me light and nectar? I'm not sure. Is the Buddha really sending me inspiration? Do I feel worthy of receiving that inspiration? And I could see I didn't. There was this huge block, this total resistance. There I was, there they were, and it's like nothing. And then I was thinking about, well, how do I establish my self-worth? And so often I evaluate myself based on what I do, essentially. And then what I do becomes the attributes that I have, my characteristics. And so I was thinking like self-worth is sort of like the stock market. It goes up, it goes down, and it's totally erratic. And I was thinking, well, that doesn't match up with what our teachers tell us about actions and the people who do those actions, that those two are different entities, right? So there's the action that the Buddha has told us. There's actions that are valuable, that contribute to our well-being, and there's actions that are harmful, that harm ourselves and others. And so on that basis, there's worthy actions, you could say, and unworthy ones. But the people who do those actions, the Buddha doesn't evaluate their worthiness. And he's not fluctuating his love and compassion based on what we do. Because he has complete equanimity. He has love and compassion for all beings. And so I'm an object of the Buddha's love because I'm confused about how to find happiness. Even if I get a little bit, it doesn't last. It's not high quality. So I'm definitely worthy of being an object of the Buddha's love. And I have all kinds of dukkha. I create the causes for my own misery. So of course, I'm an object of the Buddha's compassion. So when I think about it from the Buddha's point of view, of course I'm worthy to receive their love and compassion. So then I was thinking about another obstacle that comes up, and that is I'm incapable or totally separate. And this came about when I was thinking about the Buddha's qualities. So the Buddha's 10 powers, 18 unshared characteristics. And then I was comparing those qualities with the qualities that I have. So that's a setup for misery. And it was like, well, there's the Buddha, and he has this quality, and this quality, and this quality. and I don't. And there I am. And I'm totally separate. There's this huge gulf between me and the Buddha. So again, that is quite contrary to what the Buddhist teachings tell us, what the Buddha has taught. So again, Lama Tsongkhapa in the Lamrim Chimo says this: in the past, there were former Buddhas. Now there are living Buddhas. And in the future, there will also be those who reach Buddhahood. It is not the case that just one person who has already become a Buddha accomplishes the path. Rather, those just like myself, gradually progressing upward, have become Buddhas and will become Buddhas. So the Buddha is saying, yes, of course, all the Buddhas were ordinary beings before they were Buddhas. There's no Buddha that was there from the beginning. And I went to the Library of Wisdom and Compassion, Samsara, Nirvana, and Buddha Nature, in a section that Venerable just recently taught about, where His Holiness and Venerable are describing why all afflictions can be totally abandoned. And that is because the basic nature of the mind is pure, because the afflictions are adventitious, they're not embedded in the nature of the mind, and that there are powerful antidotes that can be applied to each and every affliction. So because of that, then yes, it is totally possible for me to eliminate all afflictions. And then they also describe how it's possible that all excellent qualities can be cultivated limitlessly. And so the first reason is because the mind is a stable basis for that development. So it's not like the body that ages, gets sick, and dies. Rather, the mind is this constant, continual stream that will go all the way to Buddhahood. So because of that, it's a stable basis. And because the mind can be habituated, we can build up qualities cumulatively. So it's like she talks about the high jumper has to go, go through the distance they've already gone through in order to get a little bit higher. But that doesn't happen with the mind. We know that when we meditate, especially when we meditate every day, then we can build up our qualities and we don't have to start over every day. And also that good qualities are enhanced. They're not diminished by wisdom. And so for that reason, good qualities can be cultivated limitlessly. So again, the Buddha is saying that you're not incapable. Actually, you are quite capable, and every being is capable. And the third obstacle that I've faced in taking refuge, and I was quite surprised by this, but it was wanting to be saved, or actually waiting to be saved, thinking that, yeah, I can get discouraged because the Buddha, can help me. The Buddha can do it. Or thinking the Buddha should save me. But of course, this is totally incorrect. The Buddha is totally impartial. He has love and compassion. He's wise and all-knowing, but the Buddha is not all-powerful. And so he cannot save me. And if he could, as Venerable has said many times, then he would. There would be no suffering beings in the world if Buddhas actually had the power to save us. But what he does do is teach us how to save ourselves. So I've learned a few things from these obstacles as I've been trying to take refuge. And the first is that by trusting the Buddha's great compassion, then I can feel worthy, that I am valuable and that I am worthy of their guidance and their inspiration. By trusting the Buddha's wisdom, then I can feel confident that I have the potential to transform. And finally, by trusting myself and giving up all hope that the Buddha can do it for me, then I take responsibility for my own awakening.